Brackets on brackets. We tryna get to these brackets. We flipping through all of these hits and these classics. Sometimes don't know which one to pick when that happens. We mixing and matching. We listening and tryna get brackets. Complex brackets.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Complex Brackets. I'm your host, Brian B.Dot Miller, and today we're joined by a hip-hop legend. Please welcome rapper, producer, and one half of the infamous Mobb, Havoc. Hav, what's good, homie?
Well, I'm chilling, baby. You already know.
Now, Hav, as I mentioned, you're part of one of the greatest rap duos ever, so it's only fitting that you help crown the best Mobb Deep song of all time.
It's a tough one.
This shit is impossible.
Yeah. It's a tough one for me. Let's get it popping.
Let's get it bracking. All right, first matchup we have Survival of the Fittest versus Give Up the Goods, Just Step.
Here we go.
All right, let me see what you got, Hav. 1, 2.
We on the same page.
We're on the same page.
We on the same page.
Why are you going with Survival of the Fittest?
Listen, I love Give Up the Goods. Just
That's a Queen's anthem.
Yeah, it is a Queens get the money, long time no cash.
Yes.
But Survival holds a special place in my heart. It was our second video off the infamous album, so I have to go with Survival.
And Puff was in that video too.
Yeah, he made his debut in the Mobb Deep video. You know what I'm saying? It shocked the world.
But then again, Big Rapinoid, that's when he got his...
Rapinoid got his start and Give Up the Goods, you know what I mean?
This was tough.
They both my babies.
We're going with Survival of the Fittest?
We're going to go with Survival.
All right, Survival of the Fittest survives another day, goes on to the next round. Next matchup we got, Shook Ones Part 2 versus Eye for an Eye. All right, let me see what you got, Hav.
Bam!
Shook Ones, the classic.
Yeah. I had to go with Shook Ones. Eye for an Eye is like, that's like my favorite classic record, you know, with Nas and Raekwon.
Yeah.
You know, nothing beats that, but, you know, Shook Ones is just one of those records.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, there is no wrong answer, right?
No, it's never.
All right, well, ain't no Shook Ones over here. Shook Ones goes on to the next round. All right, Hav, how do you feel about this? Frontlines Hell on Nerf versus G.O.D. Part 3.
What you going with?
Let me see. Oh, you went with Hell on Nerf.
I went with Hell on Nerf.
Why'd you pick that?
I went with Hell on Nerf because it was, you know, our next album after the infamous.
Right.
And we led with that as the single, and that kind of like, you know, jump started, you know, our you know, saying journey, you know what I mean, into you know, passing that sophomore jinx. So Hell on Nerf.
But G.O.D., I mean, you sampled Scarface for that, right?
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
Everybody loves Scarface, you know what I mean? And I used to watch it so much, and I'm like, yo, that beat sound crazy, you know what I'm saying, in the beginning. And I already had the Bonita Applebum drums in my head already, and I made it in my head. And I went to the studio and I made it and I just put it together. And I was surprised nobody never used a Scarface sample before. You know what I mean? I lucked up with that one, so.
So you sticking with Frontlines? You're not going with G.O.D.?
Nah, I'm gonna have to stick with Frontlines.
Oh, man. All right, well, Frontlines, Hell on Nerf moves on to the next round. All right, next up to bat, Still Shinin versus Nighttime Vultures. What you got, Hav?
Boom.
Still Shining, yes! The ladder of success. This is I think this might be my favorite joint. Like, I have always had questions for this. How the hell did you find that Willie Hutch sample for Still Shining?
Yo, you know, it was just so crazy because, like I tell everybody, I used to just have all these vinyl records strewn all over the floor in my crib as, you know, as a young dude. And I just picked it up, put it on. I heard it.
Just that little piece?
Just that one little piece. Just that one little, and I just said, this is it.
You built a whole classic around it.
That was it, Still Shining.
See, now it's interesting that you didn't pick Nighttime Vultures because I know you've been quoted as saying Hell on Nerf is your favorite album and Nighttime Vultures is your favorite track.
Nighttime Vultures is definitely a favorite of mine for sure from that album. Definitely, because I remember just going crazy to have Raekwon on the song. But Hell on Nerf, man, the lead off, like every time me and Prodigy perform that song, people just lose their minds. You know what I mean? And I can't never forget that.
All right, well, Still Shining, Still Climbing, goes on to the next round. That's my shit.
Yeah.
All right, next matchup we got, Quiet Storm Remix versus It's Mine.
Oh, man, why y'all do that? Why
y'all
do that to
boy.
me?
All right, I think I got mine's locked. We're on the same page. Quiet Storm Remix.
We're on the same page.
That It's Mine, though, I mean.
It's Mine's classic.
That's a classic.
Video was off the chain.
Where would you shoot that video at?
We shot that video in Anguilla.
Oh, Anguilla, okay.
In Anguilla, yeah. I mean, whoa, yeah, that was crazy. I believe Hype Williams shot that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and
he had the speedboats.
Yeah, man, P was on a speedboat,
right,
like a newborn child on Mill. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was beautiful. But this a Quiet Storm remix record, man, with the Little Kim verse.
I mean, Little Kim.
You know what I'm saying? Hot damn, here we go again.
She spelled out QB to the MOBB.
And then the dance. You know?
Can't forget about the dance. All right, well, Quiet Storm remix slides to the left. Next up to bat, we got the Realest versus the Learning Berm.
That's a tough one.
This is a tough one.
That's a tough one. You know. Okay, but I'm gonna do it like this.
All right, let me see what you got, Hav.
Boom.
Okay. The Learning.
But I must say, the Realest, produced by the Alchemist. This one produced by Alchemist. Yep. Is one of the illest beats that I heard, you know what I mean?
That was his first time collaborating with the Mobb, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? And, you know, to this day, you know, I perform it on stage, and me and P, Prodigy, used to love it on stage as well.
How did Coogee Rap come about?
I think, you know, we was just looking for features, and we hadn't done a song with Coogee Rap, you know what I'm saying? Our fellow Queens, you know what I'm saying, brethren. So we just tapped him, and he was receptive. He came through, he did it, he killed the verse, and the rest was history.
But Big Rapper Noid held his own on Berm.
Oh man, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
Yeah. All right, well, the Learning moves on to the next round. Next matchup we got Getaway versus Hey Love Anything.
Okay, oh man, this is tough.
These are both of my favorite songs on Infamy. All right, but I think I got mine locked in.
Yeah. Boom.
Getaway.
Yeah, you already know.
Y'all guys shot that video in Mexico?
Yeah, we shot that in Tijuana. You know, we walking around like it was our hood.
Right.
But you know, Tijuana's wild, but they accepted us into the hood in Tijuana. We shot the video. Getaway, man.
That Getaway is so it's like an escape. You know, it really represents the title of the track.
Absolutely. You know, we was, you know, in Mexico getting away from it all. And, you know, it really reflected what the song was about.
Right, but that whole album, Infamy, kind of felt like that because you also had Nobody Like Home with Little. So it felt like that album was like a transition for you guys, just trying to get away from something.
It really was, you know what I'm saying? Because we turning in from the 90s to the 2000s, and you know what I'm saying? It's like we just, you know, trying to make our way.
Right, absolutely. But then again, got Hey Love featuring 112. I remember Prodigy saying that was like a turning point for you guys as well, right?
It really was, you know, because up until that point, you know, we hadn't done any records, you know what I mean, for the ladies, you know what I mean? So, you know, we had to get the ladies involved and, you know, let us, you know, a little thug love.
Yeah, there was some backlash because y'all was kissing and making out with the ladies. I didn't understand that.
I don't understand it, you know what I'm saying? A thug need love too, you know?
We all need love, man. All right, well, Getaway goes on to the next round. And our last matchup in the first round, we got Got It Twisted versus Out of Control remix. Cool, I got mine locked in.
Got it?
Let me see.
Boom!
Oh, you went with Out of Control remix.
I had to go with Out of Control.
Really?
I had to go with Out of Control. The reason why I went with Out of Control, that was when, you know, everybody knows we went with G Unit. You know what I'm saying? We signed with G Unit. We formed this new relationship. We went on this world tour for like 6 months. And while we was on tour, Out of Control was just on the radio going crazy.
That was a great record, but I think it Got It Twisted, and of course, Alchemist produced that.
Yes.
And he sampled Weird Science. I just never heard a track like that at that time.
Right. But this is the first time Mobb Deep is rapping over a Dre track. So
right.
You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's tough because Got It Twisted is one of our huge records again that we perform, and you know, but I can't ignore the fact that we got the great 50 Cent on the record and Dr. Dre on the track.
And you mentioned Dr. Dre. Obviously, you produce a majority of these songs. Yep. But what's your favorite Mobb Deep song not produced by you?
Oh, The Realest.
The Realest, okay.
You know, produced by Alchemist, I mean, and Got It Twisted.
Okay.
Word.
All right, good. All right, there we have it from Hav. Out of Control remix goes on to the next round. And there we have our Elite 8. All right, Hav, this is gonna get a little bit tough. Okay, you ready for the next round?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's do it. First matchup we got, Survival of the Fittest versus Shook Ones Part 2.
Yeah.
This is your fault.
But oh man, and you know what? I ain't mad at myself.
Let me see what you got.
Boom.
Shook Ones Part 2.
Yeah, you already know. You already know.
It's that beat. Everyone talks about the stove. But that was a Herbie Hancock sample, right?
That was a Herbie Hancock sample.
How, Havoc? How did you do it?
When you only have a certain amount of sampling time and you have to be as creative as you can be, you know what I mean? So I put it all the way down the keyboard, different tone, dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the least amount of sampling time brings out the most creativity in you.
And Prodigy said that you were thinking about erasing that?
I wouldn't say erasing it, but I was known to cut off the MPC machine. You know what I mean? Because I sometimes I couldn't tell if the beat was dope or not. The crew would come, they would say, they put the stamp on it, and we was good to go.
Havoc, you are responsible for boosting the crime rate in New York City because of that song.
Please don't blame me.
It's Havoc's fault.
Please.
Well, Shook Ones Part 2 goes on to the next round. Next up to bat, we got Frontlines versus Still Shinin'.
Okay. I got it. I got it.
You got it?
I got it.
Hopefully we got the same thing. Oh, come on, Hav, you're killing me. Why are you going to Frontlines over Still Shinin'?
Man, Hello Nerf, man, is one of my favorite records, I can't lie. But Still Shinin' was super hype.
Still shot. I mean, Prodigy's, hopefully I can convince you to change your mind.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, think about what Prodigy's verse, we said,
Right.
Rob land like white man. I mean, Prodigy was in his bag. I mean,
he was in his bag. He was super in his bag. But something about Hello Nerf just holds.
You think it's a better beat or is it?
Nah, I wouldn't say a better beat. You know what I mean? But Hello Nerf, the title alone, just rings true to what's going on in the news these days to me. You know what I mean? With all the war and all of that stuff. So it's still 20 years later, just still ringing true.
The war is still going on outside, right?
Word. No man is safe.
That's a fact. All right, well, in this case, the saga begins and continues. Frontlines goes on to the next round. I'm very upset, but it's okay. Okay, next matchup we got Quiet Storm Remix versus the Berm.
Uh-oh.
You got something locked in?
I got it locked in.
Oh, okay.
We're on the same
page. I see you.
Yeah.
Quiet Storm Remix. Remember how that impacted New York City when it dropped?
Yeah, man. I was just so excited to have another hit record under the belt.
Right.
And to get a verse from Lil' Kim, the Queen Bee. Yeah, it tore New York up on levels beyond my imagination.
And these songs both resonated at the Tunnel nightclub, right?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you play it in the tunnel, I mean, the whole tunnel erupted.
Right.
It was one of those records.
Absolutely. Now, when you look at the game, there's obviously no shortage of rapper producers. You have yourself, Eminem, Kanye West, Dr. Dre, but who's the best in your eyes?
In my eyes, the best rapper producer, aside from myself, it's out of J. Cole and Kanye.
Okay, J. Cole.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I ain't mad at that. Quiet Storm Remix goes on to the next round.
It goes on.
All right, and for our last matchup in the second round, we got Getaway versus Out of Control Remix.
Okay, let's go.
Getaway.
There we go. Yeah. That's classic.
That's sample, man. It's like if you're having a bad day, Getaway is the perfect song to play.
It really is.
All right, well, Getaway goes on to the next round, and there we have our final four. Hav is getting tough.
It's been tough. It's been tough.
All right, let's get into our first matchup in the final four. Shook Ones Part 2 versus Frontlines Hell on Nerf.
Head to head.
Wow. Shook Ones. We're sticking with Shook Ones.
We sticking with Shook Ones. Shook Ones wins.
Do you still happen to have those Hennessy shirts?
I do. I have one of them. Yes,
No
I
kidding.
do. I have Prodigies.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Will you have it just like in the closet? Is it tucked away somewhere?
Yeah, it's tucked away somewhere nice and safe, for a good cause.
What happened to yours?
That was too many Hennessy bottles ago. You know what I mean?
All right, well, Shook Ones goes on to the next round. And for our last matchup, we got Quiet Storm Remix versus Getaway.
Okay.
All right, let me see what you got. Quiet Storm Remix.
That was the no-brainer.
To be fair, I do enjoy Prodigy's solo version as well, but
Yeah. I mean, and I loved it, but Lil' Kim put a nice spin
she put
on
the
it.
little stamp on that right there.
Like ladies.
Absolutely. All right, Hav, full disclosure, before we settled on this bracket, we were going to do best rap duo of all time with you. Where do you think Mobb Deep ranks in that pantheon?
I would say 1.
Who else do you think is in the running as well?
I would say Outkast, MOP.
Right.
I can't say Run DMC, right? Because
it's a trio, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Also, 8 Ball MJG.
Yes.
Clips, of course.
Of course.
Do this all day. But right now it's the Mobb's time. Wow. Quiet Storm remix goes on to the next round, and here we have it. Moment of truth, Hav. For the championship round, we have Shook Ones Part 2 versus Quiet Storm remix.
This one was tough, but I had to make a choice.
We had to make a choice. Shook Ones Part 2. I think that's a fair pick right there, Hav.
Yeah.
What do you think? Talk about like the lifespan of Shook Ones Part 2 and how it's just become this phenomenon.
It's like Shook Ones is one of those songs that, like, ever since we made it, it took a life of its own. You know, it's been used in movies with the likes of 8 Mile,
right.
You know what I'm saying? And then that gave it more life. And then it's just an all-around dope record when you play it in the party, you know, also in video games and, you know, things of that nature. So it's just one of those records that it's just a purely dope record. You know what I mean? There's no way around it. You don't even have to know who did it. You know, you know, some of the kids, the millennials, they don't know, but they like the sound of it, and you know.
So looking back on your career, do you feel like people have underrated you as a rapper?
You know, probably. You know, a lot of people underrated, but you know, being underrated is being rated. So I'm just happy to be rated at all. You know what I mean? Okay. And you know, I don't mind it at all. You know, but there are fans out there, supporters that appreciate what I do on the lyrics, and history will judge me very kindly.
Absolutely, history has judged you kindly right now. Shook Ones Part 2, man. According to Havoc, you hear from the man himself. It's the greatest Mobb Deep song of all time, and you know I ain't mad at that, man. So, are you enjoying rapping or producing more these days?
These days, I'm enjoying both. I'm not gonna lie, because you know the write is a challenge for me to even make beats in this climate of change in hip hop is a challenge to me. So I really enjoy both. Creatively, you know, making beats where I don't have to write, a little bit, I give that more of the edge, you know what I mean? So, but I love both.
All right, well, cool, man. We love you for coming on, Hav. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yo, I want to thank my guest, Havoc, for joining us on this week's episode of Complex Brackets and crowning the best Mobb Deep song of all time. But what do you think? Jump in the comments and let us know, and make sure you check out the description below where you'll find a playable link to this exact bracket. Just make sure you share your results using the hashtag Complex Brackets on all social platforms. I'll catch y'all next week. I'm Brian B.Dot Miller. Brack up, done.